Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as requested by you, I've created a predictive paper for paper 2 for IGCSE Edexcel Maths A. In this video, I'm including all of the topics that did not come in paper 1. So let's solve these questions that I've included in this paper, and hopefully this will help you in your preparation for paper 2. So you can get a question for circle theorem since that did not come in paper 1. So in this one it says A, C, and D are points on a circle with center O. A, B, and CB are tangents to the circle. Angle ABC is given as 74. We have to work out the size of angle ADC. So we have to work out this angle. So since CB and AB are tangents, that means the radius will make a 90-degree angle with the tangent. So even though in this question they're not asking for the reasoning, I'm going to tell you the reason for each step so that in case you get a question where they're asking you to give a reason for each step that you're doing, you would know how to do it. So the radius always makes a 90-degree angle with the tangent. That's why OAB equals to OCB, which is 90 degrees. Now we can see that OCBA is a quadrilateral because we have 4 sides. So we can easily find angle AOC. So angle AOC is going to be 360 minus 74 minus 90 minus 90. That's going to give us 106 degrees. So this angle is 106 degrees. Once again, since OACB is a quadrilateral because there are 4 sides to this shape, so sum of angles is going to be 360. So we subtract 74, 90, and 90 from 360 to get the 4th angle. Now if you notice, this angle and this angle are a part of one of the circle theorems, which is that angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. Hence, ADC is going to be half of 106, which is going to be 53 degrees. So in this question, you used the tangent radius circle theorem, and then the angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference, that theorem. The next question is on functions. So it says that f of x equals to 2x minus 3 and g of x equals to x over 3x plus 1. We have to state the value of x that cannot be included in any domain of g. So when you have a rational function, which is like a function with a fraction, like there's a variable in the numerator and denominator. So to figure out what is the value at which the function does not exist, you will put your denominator equal to 0. So 3x plus 1 equals to 0, and x is going to be negative 1 over 3. This is the value at which the function does not exist, because if you put this into the equation, the denominator becomes 0. And in a fraction, if the denominator is 0, the function is undefined. And undefined functions don't exist. Hence, x cannot be equal to negative 1 over 3. Then they're asking us to find a composite function. So g of fx means that f of x will become the domain of g of x. So wherever there is x in g of x, you replace it with f of x. So it becomes 2x minus 3 over 3 times 2x minus 3 plus 1. 2x minus 3 over 6x minus 9 plus 1, which is 2x minus 3 over 6x minus 8. That is your composite function g of fx. Then express the inverse of function g inverse in the form of g inverse of x. So g of x is x over 3x minus 1. Three x plus 1. So y equals to x over 3x plus 1. Right now, y is the subject of the equation. We have to make x the subject. So cross multiply. Y times 3x plus 1 equals to x. Expand the bracket. 3xy plus y equals to x. Collect the terms with x on one side. 3xy minus x equals to y. Now we take x common. x bracket 3y minus 1 equals to y. Since we want to make x the subject, so we're going to take the bracket to the other side, and it will divide y. So y divided by 3y minus 1, which means g inverse of x is going to be x over 3x minus 1. That is your inverse function. Then I included another type of question for functions because you never know what they can give. They can give like a composite and inverse function like I did for the previous question. And they can also give you a quadratic function and they can ask you to find the inverse of that quadratic function. So to find the inverse of a quadratic function, we need to use completing square form. So g of x is negative x squared plus 6x plus 5. I rearrange this in ascending order starting with the highest power of x. So now, first step is to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Right now, the coefficient of x squared is negative 1. So we'll take negative 1. So we'll take negative 1 common from the entire equation. So negative 1 bracket x squared minus 6x minus 5 bracket close. Now we're going to complete the square. So this is the square that we're trying to complete. I've heard that completing square form did come in paper 1, but I'm not sure if they just directly ask you to use completing square or did they give you a function, because as far as I know, functions did not come. So I'm still going to stick to this question for the prediction paper because they can give you a function question and they can ask you to find the inverse of the quadratic equation. So to convert x squared minus 6x into complete square, we know that a complete square is going to be a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. We have our a square, we have our 2ab, we don't have our b square. So to find the b square value, we put 6x equals to 2xb. A is x in this case. So 6x divided by 2x is going to equal to b, which is 3. So to complete the square, we're going to add 3 square, and then we're going to subtract 3 square as well, because plus 3 square is a new term that we've introduced in this equation. So in order to maintain the balance, we subtract it as well. So that's going to be negative 1 bracket x minus 3, because a square minus 2ab plus b square is basically a minus b whole square in factorized form. So x minus 3 whole square, because a is x and b is 3, minus 9 minus 5. Negative 1 bracket x minus 3 whole square minus 14. Negative 1 gets multiplied with the bracket, so minus x minus 3 whole square and then plus 14. This is your quadratic equation in completing square form. Now we're going to use this to find the inverse. So y equals to negative x minus 3 whole square plus 14. Y is the subject. Let's make x the subject. So y minus 14 equals to negative x minus 3 whole square. Divide both sides by negative 1. So 14 minus y equals to x minus 3 whole square. Square root on both sides. So plus minus root of 14 minus y equals to x minus 3. Plus minus root of 14 minus y plus 3 equals to x. Now if we go to the equation in the question, it says that the domain is x is greater than equal to 3. So if you know, when you talk about the domain and range of the original function and the inverse function, whatever is the domain and range of the original, that becomes the range and domain. So basically we swap the values. So over here they said that the domain is greater than equal to 3, which means it's going to be the range. The range is going to be greater than equal to 3 for the inverse. Hence, for g inverse of x, we're going to take the positive root, because it's supposed to be greater than equal to 3, not less than equal to 3. So positive root of 14 minus x plus 3 is your inverse of the quadratic function. I would suggest that you practice this more. I'm attaching a link above that I've made separately for functions, and you'll find similar questions over there as well. So go through those because functions did not come in paper one, so there's a very high chance it will come in paper two. Then we have to state the domain of G inverse. G of x in completing square form is negative x minus 3 whole square plus 14. So our turning point of this maximum curve is x is equal to 3, y is equal to 14. So as you can see for this, range is less than equal to 14, which means the domain of G inverse is going to be x is less than equal to 14. Because even over here, if you look at the root function, inside the root, it cannot be a negative value. So 14 minus x has to be greater than equal to 0. So negative x is greater than equal to negative 14. When you have negative signs on both sides, you divide it by negative 1 and the inequality flips, which is going to give us x is less than equal to 14. So both ways we're getting the same answer. So you can solve it either way. It's just a 1-mark question. If you're getting the right thing and you're proving how you're getting it, you'll get the mark. Then histograms did not come in paper 1, so it's probably going to come in paper 2. So it says the histogram shows information about the ages of all the passengers traveling on a plane. No one on the plane is older than 80 years. 24 passengers on the plane are aged between 40 years and 60 years. So in this bar, the frequency is 24. We have to work out the total number of passengers on the plane. So based on this frequency value and the class width, which is 20, we will figure out the frequency density value. And then using that frequency density value, we'll create a scale for the y-axis, and that will help us in finding the total frequency. So frequency density is frequency over class width, which is going to be 24 over 20. That equals 1.2. So this over here is 1.2. If this is 1.2, that means this is going to be 1. And each small square equals to 0.2 units. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is 4. Then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, 6, and 7. Okay, so then the frequency density for 0 to 10 is going to be 0.4. 10 to 20 is going to be 1.8. 20 to 25 is going to be 6.4. 25 to 40 is going to be 2. We know this is 1.2, and this one is going to be 0.8. So now we use these frequency densities to figure out the frequency values. So for the first one, it's going to be 10 times 0.4, which is 40. Then 1.8 times 10, 18. Then 5 times 6.4, which equals 32. Then we have 2 times 15, which equals 30. Then we have 24. And then we have 20 times 0.8, which is 60. So total passengers is going to be 40 plus 18 plus 32 plus 30 plus 16, and plus 24. That gives us 160. So there were 160 passengers in total. Then a passenger on the plane is picked at random. Work out an estimate for the probability that this person is older than 55 years old. So older than 55 years old means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This. So over here and over here. So we're going to see that we have 20 columns. Like for small boxes, if we count those, we have 20 columns from 40 to 60. So there are 24 people over here. So for one column, it's going to be 1.2. So we're talking about how many columns? 5 columns. So 5 times 1.2 is going to give us 6 people. So older than 55 people are going to be 6 plus, and the last interval at 16. So that's 22 people. So the probability of older than 55 is 22 divided by 160. If you want to simplify it, you can simplify it to 11 over 80, or you can even leave it as it is. So this is the probability for this person being older than 55 years. Then cumulative frequency did not come in paper 1, so it's going to come in paper 2. So it says that the cumulative frequency graph shows information about the length and minutes of each of 80 films. Use this graph to find an estimate for the interquartile range. So for the interquartile range, we need the lower quartile and the upper quartile. So we have 80 films in total. So for the lower quartile, we do 104 times 80, which is 20. So we draw a line from 20 towards the graph. Is going to be at 103. So lower quartile is 103. Now for the upper quartile, we do 3/4 of 80, which is going to be 60. So we draw a line from 60 towards the graph. Please use a ruler to draw this line. I'm doing it freehand because I can't use the ruler on this app for some reason. So that's going to give us 123. So for the interquartile range, we do upper quartile minus lower quartile. So 123 minus 103, and that's going to be 20 minutes. That is your interquartile range. If they were asking you to find the median, you would do 80 divided by 2, which is 40, and you draw a line from 40. And 111 would be your median value, in case they were asking you to find that. Then says Claire says more than 35% of these films are over 120 minutes long. Is she correct? So if we go at 120 minutes and draw a line from 120 towards the graph, this is 20. So that brings us over here at 55. So 35% of 80 is going to give us 28. And according to the graph, 55 and above. So if we do 80 minus 55, that equals to 25. So based on this, we know that 55 films are 120 minutes long, okay? And these films over here, these are 25 films. 25 films are more than 120 minutes long. She's claiming that 35% of the films are, she's claiming that more than 35% of the films are over 120 minutes long. 35% is 28. So she's saying more than 28 films are 120 minutes long, which is incorrect because based on the graph, your 25 films are more than 120 minutes long. So no, she is wrong. Then you can get a question for sequences because that did not come in paper 1. Like I've heard the one that came, that was the easy one. So you can get the difficult one in paper 2. So the sum of the first 10 terms of an arithmetic series is 4 times the sum of the first 5 terms of the same series. The 8th term of the series is 45. Find the first term of the series. So S10 equals to 4 times S5. U8 equals to 45. So we know that the nth term formula is Un is A plus n minus 1 times D. A is your first term. D is your common difference. And n is the placement of the term, whether it's the first term, second term, third term, and so on. So using the information that 8th term is 45, let's create an equation. 45 equals to A plus 8 minus 1 times D. 45 equals to A plus 70. This is our first equation. Now let's use this information to create another equation in terms of A and D. So S5 is going to be 5 over 2 times 2A plus 5 minus 1 times D. Since we're talking about the sum of the first 5 terms, so n is going to be 5. So 5 over 2 times 2A plus 4D, 5A plus 10D is the sum of the first 5 terms. Now sum of the first 10 terms is going to be 10 over 2 times 2A plus 10 minus 1 times D. That's 5 bracket 2A plus 9D, which is 10A plus 45D. S10 is 4 times S5. So 10A plus 45D equals to 4 times 5A plus 10D. Let's simplify this. 10A plus 45D equals to 20A plus 40D. Collect all of the terms on one side. 10A minus 20A plus 45D minus 40D equals to 0. Negative 10A plus 5D equals to 0. This is your second equation. So they want us to find the first term. So if we make D the subject over here, 5D equals to 10A, D equals to 2A. Let's substitute this in the first equation. So first equation is 45 equals to A plus 70. 45 equals to A plus 70. 45 equals to A plus 7 times 2A. A plus 14A. 15A and then 45. And then 45 divided by 15, and that is equal to 3. So your first term is 3. Then you can get a questions on sets and Venn diagrams. So some students in a school were asked the following questions. Do you have a dog, a cat, or a rabbit? Of these students, 28 have a dog, 18 have a cat, 20 have a rabbit, 8 have both a cat and a rabbit, 9 have both a dog and a rabbit, X have both a dog and a cat, 6 have a dog, cat, and a rabbit, and 5 have neither. So using this information, we have to complete the Venn diagram to show the number of students in each appropriate subset, give the numbers in terms of X where necessary. So in the first part, we're not supposed to find the value of X. So don't confuse yourself by trying to find it because the question clearly says give in terms of X where necessary. So 5 have neither, so that's going to be outside. So we're done with that. 6 have all three, so that comes in the middle, which is the intersection part between all three sets. We're done with this. X have both a dog and a cat. This is your both dog and a cat. All of this is X, which means if a part of it is 6, this part over here is going to be X minus 6. Once again, all of this is the intersection between dog and cat, which is given as X. So if a part of X is 6, the region over here above this part, this will not be X, it will be X minus 6. Then we have 9 have both a dog and a rabbit. So this all is 9, which means this part is going to be 3 because 6 is already given in the intersection. So what's left is 3. Then 8 have both a cat and a rabbit. So this is going to be 2 now. 20 have a rabbit. So we have 3, 6, and 2, which is 11. So out of 20, 11 is already given. So this is going to be 9. The entire circle is 20, not this part. Because if it said just rabbit, then this would be 20. But it just says that 20 have a rabbit. So those 20 can have people who have a dog and a cat as well. It can be anything. Then 18 have a cat. So just cat is going to be 18 minus 6 minus 2 minus X minus 6, which is going to give us 10 minus X plus 6, 16 minus X. So just cat is 16 minus X. Once again, the entire circle was 18. So from 18, we're subtracting 6, 2, and X minus 6. Then 28 have a dog, so the entire circle for dog is 28. So just dog is going to be 28 minus 6 minus 3 minus X minus 6, which is going to give us 25 minus X. So this is your Venn diagram based on the given information. Given that a total of 50 students answered the question, work out the value of X. So 50 would equal to sum of all of these. So 5 plus 9 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2 plus X minus 6 plus 16 minus X plus 25 minus X. We don't write the common regions twice, we only write it once. So 50 equals to, let's add these up, that's 60, and then we have minus X. X is going to be 60 minus 50, and X is 10. This is your final answer. Then find the number of C complement intersection D complement. Since we're talking about number of C complement intersection D complement, that's basically the same as number of C union D whole complement. So that's everything that's outside of C and D. So that's 5 and 9. So the number of elements is going to be 9 plus 5, which is 14. That's your answer. Then I've included the other type of questions as well in case they give a slightly easy one. So we have three sets, B, G, and W. B has the elements B, L, U, E. G has the elements G, R, E, Y. And W has the elements W, H, I, T, E. List all the members of the set B union G. So that's going to include everything that's in B and G. So B, L, U, E, G, R, Y. We write the common elements only once, not twice. Then W intersection G complement, that is the intersection between W and everything that is not in G. So G complement, firstly, it's going to be B, L, U, W, H, I, T. These are the elements that are not in G. So W intersection G complement is going to be W, H, I, T. E is not going to be included because E is a part of G, so E will not be included in the list of elements. Then Serena writes down the statement B intersection G intersection W is a null set. This symbol means null set, which means no elements. That means it's an empty set. So this is what a null set means. Is Serena's statement correct? Serena's statement is incorrect because we know all three have an intersection, which is E. E is one element that is common in all three sets. So it cannot be a null set. She is incorrect because all three sets have E in common. That is your answer. Next question is going to be on differentiation. So as you know, I also mentioned this in predicted paper 1 for November 2025, that for differentiation, you can get three types of questions. They can give you a direct question where they're asking you to find dy by dx and find the stationary points or like gradient of stationary points, something like that. Second category you can get is that they can give you a 3D shape and they can ask you to find the maximum value of the volume or surface area. Third category is kinematics, where they can ask you about displacement, speed, or acceleration. So I'm going to discuss all these three types in this predicted paper so that in case any of these comes, if any one of these come, you know how to solve it. So the solid S is made from a hemisphere and a cylinder. The center of the circular face of the hemisphere and the center of the top of the face of the cylinder are at the same point. The radius of the cylinder and the radius of the hemisphere are both x centimeters. The height of the cylinder is 20 minus 4x, and the volume of S, which is the entire solid, is given as V equals to 1 over 3 pi y. We have to find the maximum value of y. So using the given information, let's first find an equation for the volume. I know there's one given as well, but I want to find it in terms of x first, and then using that, we can find the maximum value of y. So we know that a hemisphere is going to be 2 over 3 pi r cubed. And then for a cylinder, it's pi r square h for the volume. So radius is given as x. So pi x square, and then height is 20 minus 4x. So 2 over 3 pi x cubed plus 20 pi x squared minus 4 pi x cubed. So the question says v equals to 1 over 3 pi y. So this equation is the same as 1 over 3 pi y. So now if we use the right hand side and simplify it, so this is going to equal 20 pi x cubed plus 60 pi x squared minus 12 pi x cubed divided by 3. If we take 1 over 3 pi common, that's going to give us 2x cubed plus 60x squared minus 12x cubed in the bracket. 1 over 3 pi gets cancelled out and y equals to negative 10x cubed plus 60x squared. They want the maximum value of y, so we differentiate y with respect to x. dy by dx equals to negative 30x squared plus 120x. So to find the maximum value of y, we put dy by dx equal to 0. dy by dx equal to 0. So 0 equals to negative 30x squared plus 120x. We take 30x common. So negative x plus 4 comes in the bracket. So one value of x is 0 and the other value of x is 4. We know x cannot equal to 0 because x is your radius, which means x is going to equal to 4. So y was equal to negative 10x cubed plus 60x squared. So we put x equals to 4 in this equation to find the maximum value of y. So negative 10 times 4 cubed plus 60 times 4 square, and that equals 320. So 320 is the maximum value of y. The next is for kinematics. So particle P is moving along a straight line. The fixed point O lies on this line. At time t seconds where t is greater than or equal to 0, the displacement s meters of P from O is given by s equals to t cubed plus 5t squared minus 8t plus 10. We have to find the displacement of P from O when P is instantaneously at rest. Giving your answer in the form of A over B, where A and B are integers. So if P is instantaneously at rest, that means we need to find the speed. So to find the speed, we do ds over dt, which is going to give us 3t squared plus 10t minus 8. So this is basically your velocity. So when P is instantaneously at rest, that means there is no velocity. There is no movement. So 0 equals to 3t squared plus 10t minus 8. Now we solve this quadratic equation. So 3 times 8 is 24. Factors of 24 that we can use is 12 and 2. So 3t squared plus 12t minus 2t minus 8. Between 3t squared and 12t, we have 3t common. So t plus 4 goes in the bracket. Between negative 2t and negative 8, we have negative 2 common. Again, t plus 4 goes in the bracket. So now t plus 4 times 3t minus 2, t equals to negative 4 and t equals to 2 over 3. Obviously, we cannot take t equals to negative 4 because time cannot be negative. So t is 2 over 3. So we have to find the displacement of P from O when P is instantaneously at rest. And they said that T has to be greater than or equal to 0. So once again, because of that, negative 4 is also negated. So we put this in the displacement function. S equals to T cubed plus 5t squared minus 8t and plus 10. So t is going to be 2 over 3 cube plus 5 times 2 over 3 squared minus 8 times 2 over 3 plus 10. 8 over 27 plus 20 over 9 minus 16 over 3 plus 10. Lowest common multiple is 27. 8 plus 60 minus 144 plus 270. That gives us 194 over 27. That is your answer. Then the point A is that only solution point on the curve with the equation y equals to kx squared plus 16 over x, where k is a constant. Given that the coordinates of A are 2 over 3 and A, find the value of A. So this is the third type of question you can get for differentiation. So we have an equation of curve y equals to kx squared plus 16 over x. Point A is the only solution point on the curve. So that means when you differentiate it, that's going to give us 2kx minus 16 over x squared. So dy by dx is always 0 at stationary point. So 0 equals to 2kx minus 16 over x squared. In case you're confused about the differentiation of 16 over x, 16 over x is the same as 16 to the power of negative 1. I bring the denominator in the numerator, so the power becomes negative. Now when you bring the power down, it's going to be negative 16 and negative 1 subtracted. And then we subtract 1 from the power, so that's going to be negative 16x to the power of negative 2, which is the same as negative 16 over x squared. Now we solve this equation. 0 equals to 2kx cubed minus 16. 16 equals to 2kx cubed. And they have told us that A has the coordinates 2 over 3 and A. So we know that x is 2 over 3. So now the only unknown over here is k. So 16 over 2 equals to k times 8 over 27. 16 times 27 over 2 times 8, and k is 27. They want us to find the value of a. So if we have k, we can find a because a is the value of y. So a equals to 27 times 2 over 3 squared plus 16 over 2 over 3. That's going to be 27 times 4 over 9 plus 16 times 3 over 2. That's going to be 12 plus 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And that's 36. So A is 36 while K is 27. That is your answer. Then, okay, next is similar shapes that are in common paper 1, so it's bound to common paper 2. So it says that A has a volume of 1,836 centimeter cube and B has a volume of 4,352 centimeter cube. B has total surface area of 1,120 centimeters square. We have to work out total surface area of A. Using the volume of A and B, we're going to find a ratio for the height for A and B. So we know VA over VB is the same as HA over HB whole cube. So that's going to be 1,836 over 4,352 equals to cube of height of A over height of B. We will cube root both sides to find the ratio for heights of A and B. That's going to give us, that gives us cube root of 0.421875 and so on. So that is 0.75. And we know 0.75 in fraction form is going to be 3 by 4. That is the ratio for the heights of A and B. Now we have to figure out the total surface area of A. So for surface area, it's HA over HB whole squared. So surface area of A is unknown. This is 1120 equals to 3 over 4 whole square. So that's going to be 9 over 16 times 1,120, which is going to give us 630 centimeters square. That is the surface area of solid A. So for this, you need to remember your ratios. For volumes, we cube the lengths, and for surface area, we square them. Then for the highest common factor, this didn't come. Then as per what you guys have told me, HCF and LCM did not come in paper 1, so it's bound to come in paper 2. So for the HCF, we can draw the tree diagram. So 200 can be split into 20 and 10. There's no restriction, you can use any factor. 20 is 4 and 5. 4 is 2 and 2. 5 is a prime number, so we cannot further split it. 10 is 5 and 2. Once again, we cannot further split this. Now for 420, we can use 42 times 10. 42 is 6 times 7. 6 is 3 times 2. 3, 2, and 7 are prime numbers. 10 is 5 and 2. Again, they are prime numbers. So HCF is going to be 2 is common, 5 is common, another 2 is common, and that's it. So HCF is going to be 2 times 2 times 5, which is 20. That is your highest common factor. Then A is 2 cubed times 3 times 5 times 7 square. B is 2 times 3 square times 7. And C is 3 times 5 square times 11. We have to find the lowest common multiple of A, B, and C. Write your answer as a product of powers of prime factors. So for the lowest common multiple, we will use all of the bases. And when I say all of the bases, I mean that we will use 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11, all of the numbers. The distinction is going to come in the powers now. So for 2, we see in A, B, and C, which one shows the highest power of 2. We can see that A shows the highest power of 2, which is 3. So we write the power of 3 for 2. For 3, we see that from A, B, and C, which one shows the highest power? That is B, so that's going to be 3 square. For 5, it's 5 square from C. For 7, it's 7 square from A. And for 11, it's just once. So we keep it as it is. So the question said that give the answer as a product of powers of prime factors. This is the answer. There's no other calculation to this. For lowest common multiple, you pick all of the bases, like, whatever factors you get, like as the prime factors, whatever prime factors you get for the 2 numbers or 3 numbers you're comparing. You write all of those numbers, and then for the powers, you pick the highest power. We don't combine the powers. If you notice, I did not write the power of 2 as 4. I picked the power from A because A showed the highest power of 2. Similarly, B showed the highest power for 3, C showed the highest power 5, and A showed the highest power for 7. This is how we choose the powers. So I also heard that compound interest did not come in paper 1, so it can come in paper 2. So Kuru invests 50,000 yen for 3 years in a savings account. She gets 2.4% per year compound interest. Work out how much money Kuru will have in her savings account at the end of 3 years, giving answer correct to the nearest yen. Compound interest formula is P times 1 plus R over 100 to the power of T. P is your initial amount, R is your rate of interest, T is the time period. You need to remember that the compound interest formula gives you the final amount. It doesn't give you the interest amount, it's the final amount. So the question also wants us to find how much money will be in your savings account at the end of 3 years. So this formula will give us the final amount. So 50,000 is invested. 1 plus 2.4 over 100 to the power of 3. So you just solve this in the calculator. That's going to give us 53,687.0912. They want the answer correct to the nearest yen. So that's going to be 53,687 yen. That is your amount in the savings account at the end of 3 years. Last shared by you guys, cosine rule came in paper 1, so we should go through sine rule just in case it comes in paper 2. So here's a quadrilateral PQRS. Angle SRQ is acute. Work out the size of angle SQR, giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So we have to find SQR. this angle. So if you look at triangle PQS, we have two lengths and the angle between them. So we can easily find the third length using cosine rule. So QS squared equals to 8 square plus 12 square minus 2 times 8 times 12 times cos of 120. That's going to be 304. So now we square root both sides and QS turns out to be 17.44 centimeter. So this is 17.44 centimeters. So we can see that we have one complete pair of angle and length. So we can use information to find the third angle, and then using that we can find angle Q. So to find angle R, we'll use sine rule because we have one complete pair of angle and length. So 9 over sine of 27 equals to 17.44 over sine of angle R. Sine of R equals to 17.44 times sine 27 divided by 9. So that's going to give us 0.8797. Now we find sine inverse of this, and that gives us the value of angle R. 61.61. So angle SQR is going to be 180 minus 27 minus 61.61. Let me just check the angles. Yeah, 27 and that. So that's going to equal to 91.39 degrees. They want the answer correct to one decimal place. So that's going to be 91.4 degrees. That is your angle SQR. Then next you can get a question on standard form. So write 8.4 times 10 to the power negative 5 as an ordinary number. So we'll move the decimal 5 places to the left side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be 0.000084. That is your number as an ordinary number. If it was 10 to the power of positive 5, you would move the decimal 5 places to the right side. Then work out 6.5 times 10 to the power of negative 40 times 8 times 10 to the power 185. We can plug this in the calculator. That's going to give us 5.2 times 10 to the power of 146. They want the answer in standard form, and this is standard form because in standard form, they want the decimal after the first non-zero digit. So first non-zero digit is 5. So 5.2 times 10 to the power 146 is your answer. Then recurring decimals did not come in paper 1, so it's definitely going to come in paper 2. So we begin with assuming that x equals to 0.7636363 and so on, because 3 is recurring because the dots are on 6 and 3. Then what we do is we multiply x with 10. So when we do 10x, that's going to give us 7.636363 so on. So we have to make sure that whatever we multiply x with again, the numbers after the decimal have to be exactly the same. So that can only happen if we multiply x with 1000. Because with 1000 next we're going to get 763.6363 so on. Now since the numbers after the decimal are exactly the same for both 10x and 1000x, we'll subtract 1000x and 10x, which is going to give us 763.63 recurring minus 7.63 recurring. That's 990x equals to 756. X is going to be 756 divided by 990. Let's simplify this. Both come in the 9 times table is going to be 84 over 110. Now both come in the 2 times table, which is going to be 42 over 55. That is exactly the same as shown in the question, so this is your answer. Then I'm not sure if like sketching a graph came in paper 1 or not, but just in case, let's just do this because it's not even that difficult. They've given the table of values and they want you to find the missing values of y first and then sketch the graph. So to find the missing values of y, you substitute x into the equation. So for the first one, it's going to be 5. Then the second one is going to be 4. Next one is going to be 8.5 and then 10.4. So now let's plot these points on the grid below. So we have 0.5 and 5. That's over here. Then 1 and 4. Two and 5. 3 and 6.7. 4 and 8.5. 5 and 10.4. And lastly, 6 and 12.3. Now we just connect the points. This is our graph. The next you can get is graphing inequalities. I heard inequalities came in paper 1 as well, but not graphing inequalities. So to be on the safe side, there's no harm in practicing that. So they can either give you like equations and they can ask you to draw those inequalities, or they can give you the graph and they're asking you to identify which one is which and like based on the given equations. So the region R shown here in the diagram is bounded by the straight lines with equations 2x plus y equals to 6, 2y equals to 5x plus 1, and 3y plus 2x equals to 4. We have to write down the three inequalities that define the region. So using these equations, we'll first identify which equation is which line and then determine the inequalities. Six minus 2x. So this is your y equals to 6 minus 2x. Then for the other one, 2y equals to 5x plus 1. So in slope-intercept form, half is the y-intercept, so that is going to be this one. And the third one is obviously going to be the other one, which is 3y plus 2x equals to 4. Now let's determine the inequalities for each. So since we know that the graphs are solid straight lines, which means it's going to be either greater than equal to or less than equal to. For the first one, you can see that the shaded area is underneath the graph, which means it's less than. So 2x plus y is less than equal to 6. If the shaded area was above the graph, it would be greater than equal to. Now for the second line, which is 2y equals to 5x plus 1, this one, the shaded area is again beneath the line, which means it's again less than equal to. 2y is less than equal to 5x plus 1. And then for the last one, 3y plus 2x equals to 4. The shaded area is above the line, which means the values of y are increasing. So it's going to be 3y plus 2x greater than equal to 4. These are inequalities based on the given graph. The next we have upper bounds and lower bounds. So I heard that in paper 1, we got an easy question for upper bounds and lower bounds. So let's do a difficult one for this. So the acceleration a of an object is given by a equals to v minus u over t, where v is 45.23 correct to 2 decimal places, u is 5.12 correct to 2 decimal places, and t is 8.5 correct to 2 significant figures. By considering bounds, work out the value of a to a suitable degree of accuracy. Show you're working clearly and give a reason for your answer. So for the upper bound of A, your numerator will be upper bound and denominator will be lower bound. And since we have difference in the numerator, for the upper bound, it would be upper bound minus lower bound. So this is for upper bound of A. If you're trying to find the lower bound of A, then it would be lower bound divided by upper bound. And for the difference, it would be lower bound minus upper bound. So we need to find the upper bounds and lower bounds for all four variables, in short. So let's start with V. So V is 45.23 correct to two decimal places. So it's correct to two decimal places. That means it's 0.01 divided by 2. Whatever it's correct to, you divide that thing by 2. So two decimal places is 0.01, and when you divide that by 2, we get 0.005. So for the upper bound, it would be 45.23 plus 0.005, which is going to give us 45.235. And then for the lower bound, we would subtract 0.005 from 45.23. It is going to be 45.225. Now we repeat the same steps for U. So U is 5.12 correct to two decimal places. Again, two decimal places 0.01. So 0.01 divided by 2 is 0.005. So upper bound is going to be 5.12 plus 0.005, which is 5.125. Lower bound is going to be 5.12 minus 0.005, which is 5.115. Now for T is given correct to two significant figures. Second significant figure is 5. Place value of 5 is 0.1. So we divide the place value of the second significant figure by 2, which gives us 0.05. So now for T, upper bound is going to be 8.5 plus 0.05, which is 8.55. And lower bound is going to be 8.5 minus 0.5, which is 8.45. Now we try to find the upper bound and lower bound of A because we have the upper bounds and lower bounds for all three variables. So upper bound of A is going to be upper bound of V, so 45.235 minus lower bound of U, 5.115 divided by lower bound of T, 8.45. That's going to give us 4.75, correct to two decimal places. Now for lower bound of A, we do lower bound of V, 45.225 minus upper bound of U, 5.125 divided by upper bound of T, which is 8.55. That is 4.69 correct to two decimal places. So they're saying by considering bounds, work out the value of A to a suitable degree of accuracy. So based on this, value of A should be 4.7 because A is less than 4.75 but greater than equal to 4.69. So A is 4.7. So I heard simultaneous equations didn't come in paper 1, but I heard that intersection of a quadratic and a linear equation came, which is similar to like a quadratic simultaneous equation. So if you're able to solve that, in case a quadratic simultaneous equation comes, you have to use the same method. You have to substitute the linear equation into the quadratic equation and then solve it. So for the linear simultaneous equation, you can either use substitution or elimination method. Over here, we can use substitution because y over here has the coefficient of 1. So if you make it the subject, we'll have 2x minus 4.4 equals to y. This is your third equation. This is the first one. This is the second one. So you can substitute the third one in the first one to find the value of x and then use that to find the value of y. So this is substitution method. For elimination method, you need to make the coefficient same for the variable you want to eliminate, then solve it accordingly. 5x plus 4 times 2x minus 4.4 equals to negative 2. 5x plus 8x minus 17.6 equals to negative 2. 13x equals to negative 2 plus 17.6, which is going to give us 15.6. So x equals to 15.6 divided by 13, which equals 1.2. So y is going to be 2 times 1.2 minus 4.4, and that equals 2.4 minus 4.4, and that's negative 2. So x is 1.2 and y is negative 2. Once again, you can use elimination method as well to solve this. There's no restriction. Then you can also get a question for indices, because I heard that in paper 1 they gave like the basic one, so they can give you a complicated one in this. So we have 18 times root of 27 to the power of 4n plus 6 divided by 6 times 9 to the power of 2n plus 8 equals to 3 to the power of x. We have to express x in terms of n. So let's convert them in the same base, which is the base of 3. So what we can do is we can convert 27 into the base of 3. 27 is 3 cube and 9 is 3 square. And for 18 and 6, we can just divide 18 by 6, which gives us 3. 3 times root of 3 cube whole power 4n plus 6. So we can see that we have 3 powers, 3 different powers. And then we have 3 square whole power 2n plus 8 equals to 3 to the power of x. So 3 times, let's combine these powers. So that's going to be 3 times 1 over 2 times 4n plus 6. So 3 over 2 times 4n plus 6. We know that when there's a power inside the bracket and outside the bracket, the powers get multiplied. So we multiplied 1 over 2 with 3 and then with 4n plus 6. In the denominator is going to be 4n plus 16. When we have similar bases being multiplied, we add the powers. So 1 plus 3 over 2 times 4n plus 6 over 3 to the power of 4n plus 16. Now let's simplify the power in the numerator. So 4n divided by 2 is 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's going to be 3 to the power of 1 plus 6n plus 9. Three to the power of 10 plus 6n over 3 to the power of 4n plus 16. Similar bases are being divided. We subtract the powers. 10 plus 6n minus 4n minus 16. Negative 6 plus 2n equals to this. So when similar bases exist on both sides of the equal to sign, the powers are equal. X equals to negative 6 plus 2n. They wanted x in terms of n, so that's your answer. Then you can get a fractional and negative indices, because that didn't come in paper 1 as far as I know. So whenever we have a negative power, you can make it positive by flipping the fraction. So when you flip this fraction, we have y to the power of 20 divided by 16 w to the power of 8 whole power 304. That's positive. Like we said, when there's a power outside the bracket, inside the bracket, we multiply those, and the power will get distributed on 16 as well. So y to the power of 20 times 304 divided by 16 to the power of 304 times w to the power of 8 times 3 over 4. So that's going to be y to the power of 15, because 20 divided by 4 is 5, 5 times 3 is 15, and 16 is 2 to the power of 4. So times 3 over 4, and w to the power of 6. So y to the power of 15 divided by 2 cubed times w to the power of 6, which is y to the power of 15 divided by 8 w to the power of 6. That is your simplified answer. Then I heard that expansion of double bracket didn't come, but triple bracket did come in paper 1, so double bracket should be easy for you now. It should be y times 2 minus y plus 4 times 2 minus y. So that's 2y minus y square plus 8 minus 4y. That's negative y square minus 2y plus 8. That is your expanded and simplified answer. Then for factorization, they can give it again, even if it came in paper 1. I'm not sure about that. You have to identify the highest common factor between both the terms. So we can see that 5b cube c is common between both of them. So that leaves 3b square minus 7c to the power of 8 inside the bracket. Then algebraic proofs, there's a very high chance it's going to come because it didn't come in paper 1. So you can get anything. For this one, it says that prove that when the sum of the squares of any two consecutive odd numbers is divided by 8, the remainder is always 2. So firstly, we have to identify any two consecutive odd numbers. So 2x minus 1 is one odd number, and the other is going to be 2x minus 3. Now, sum of the squares, so 2x minus 1 squared plus 2x minus 3 squares, when it's divided by 8, the remainder is always 2. Let's check. So to expand the bracket, it's going to be 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 plus 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 divided by 8. 8x squared minus 16x plus 10 over 8. 8x squared divided by 8 is x squared. 16x divided by 8 is 2x. And now we have 10 divided by 8. So they're saying that the remainder is always going to be 2. So if you divide 10 by 8, 8 ones are 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. So we have the remainder of 2. So that's correct. That proves our answer. Then I heard transformations didn't come, but someone who gave the foundation paper said that transformations came for them, like enlargement, I think. So I'm not sure, but like once again, to be on the safe side, there's no harm in practicing it. So here's a shape P drawn on a grid of squares. On the grid, rotate shape P 180 degrees about the point negative 3, 2. Label the new shape Q. Negative 3, 2 is over here. This is our center of rotation. So since it's being rotated 180 degrees, what's going to happen is that your horizontal and vertical distances of a point on the shape from the center are not going to swap. They're going to stay the same. So this point over here, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertically and 3 horizontally. So it's again going to be 4 vertically, 3 horizontally. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this comes at the top. This is your rotation of the shape 180 degrees about the center, -3 and 2. And we label this as shape Q. Then on the grid, translate shape P by the vector 10, 8. So vector 10, 8 means it's moving 10 units to the right and 8 units up. So we use the same point, 0, -2, and translate by the vector 10, 8. So we add 10 to 0 and 8 to -2. So that gives us 10 and 6. So this point is going to come at 10, 6, which is over here, which means this point will be 3 units to the right-hand side over here. Then this 3 units down, and this one is 6 units from this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is our translated shape. Since the shape does not change in translation, so we don't need to calculate each coordinate separately. But if you want to make sure that you haven't made any mistake, you can check it for each coordinate. 2, 3, and -2. If we add 10, that's going to give us 13, which is where we are. And then if we add 8, that's going to give us 6. So the shape is correct. This is shape R. Then we have one for enlargement. So here are triangle T and U drawn on a grid of square. We have to identify the single transmission that maps T onto U. So you can see it's an enlargement because the size is changing. So we have to identify the scale factor and the center of enlargement. So for the scale factor, we just pick two corresponding sides and see by how it's changing. So this is 4 units. So it's going to be 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So scale factor is 2. Now for the center, we join corresponding points on both the shapes, see where it passes through. And I think it's coming out to be -3 and 3. Like, it's a little unclear, but it's -3 and 3 for sure. So enlargement by the scale factor of 2 about the center, -3 and 3. That's your answer. Then you can get percentages again. I heard a question with ratios and percentages came in paper 1, so percentages can come again. So on Wednesday, the price of 1 liter of petrol is 1.26 pounds. Then the price of petrol on Wednesday was 5% more than the price of petrol on the previous Monday. Calculate the price of 30 liters of petrol on the previous Monday. So this is 5% more. 1.26 is basically 105 over 100 times X. X being the price on Monday. But that's just for 1 liter. So 1.26 times 100 divided by 105. That's going to give us 1.2 pounds. So 1.2 pounds is the price of 1 liter on Monday. So for 30 liters, it's going to be 1.2 times 30, which equals 36 pounds. That is your answer. Then I heard that in paper 1, they didn't give a question for algebraic fractions, like a difficult one. So there's a chance going to come in paper 2 then. So we have 1 over 3x minus 2 times 9x squared minus 4 over 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 minus 7 over x minus 1. We have to write this as a single fraction. So as you can see, we have multiplication happening and then subtraction. So first, let's simplify the quadratic equations given the fractions and then simplify it. So 1 over 3x minus 2 times 9x squared minus 4 is difference of perfect squares because two perfect squares are being subtracted. So it's going to be 3x minus 2 times 3x plus 2 Difference of perfect square is a square minus b square, which expands to a minus b times a plus b. So 9x squared is 3x whole square and 4 is 2 square. So a is 3x and b is 2. Now for the other quadratic equation, 3 times 10 is 30. Factors of 30 are 5 and 6, 15 and 2, 3 and 10. So we can use 15 and 2 because 15 minus 2 is 13. So 3x squared minus 15x plus 2x minus 10, and then minus 7 over x minus 1 comes as it is. So we can see that 3x minus 2 is getting cancelled out because both the fractions are being multiplied. So this becomes 1 times 3x plus 2 over, factorize it. In the first two terms, we have 3x common, so x minus 5 comes in the bracket. In the last two terms, we have 2 common, x minus 5 comes in the bracket. So 3x plus 2 over 3x plus 2 times x minus 5. Again, 3x plus 2 is getting cancelled out because both are being divided by each other. So we have 1 over x minus 5 minus 7 over x minus 1. So x minus 5 times x minus 1, x minus 1 minus 7 times x minus 5. Fractions with unlike denominators can only be added or subtracted if we make the denominators equal. So x minus 5 times x minus 1 is the common denominator. So we multiply the first fraction by x minus 1 and the second by x minus 5. So x minus 1 minus 7x plus 35 over x minus 5 times x minus 1. So we have 34 minus 6x over x minus 5 times x minus 1. If you want to expand the bracket in the denominator, you can do that. You can even leave it as it is. Either way, you'll get the marks. Then it shows the diagram shows the frustum of a cone and sphere. The frustum is made by removing a small cone from a large cone, and the cones are similar. The height of the small cone is h, and the height of the large cone is 2h. The radius of the base of the large cone is r centimeters, and the radius of the sphere is also r centimeters. Given that the volume of the frustum is equal to the volume of the sphere, find an expression for r in terms of h. Give your expression in its simplest form. So sphere is going to be 4 pi r cube. And for the volume of the frustum, first we find the radius of the small cone, like the cone that has been removed. So we'll use similar shapes concept for that. So h over 2h is the same as x over r. Both the cones are similar. So x is going to be r over 2. This is your radius of the small cone. Volume of large cone is 1 over 3 pi r square h. So r is r and h is going to be 2h. So that's 2h over 3 pi r square. Now volume of small cone, 1 over 3 pi times r over 2 square times h. So that's r square over 12 times pi h. Now we do volume of frustum. Two pi r square h over 3 minus pi r square h over 12. That gives us 7 pi r square h over 12. The volume of the first term is equal to the volume of sphere, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Volume of sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cube. I actually missed the 3 over here. So 4 over 3 pi r cube equals to 7 pi r square h over 12. 4 pi r cube times 12 over 3 times 7 pi r square. (16r over 7). That is what h equals to. The one for r, sorry, so r is going to be 7h over 16. That's your answer. Then you can get a question on percentages increase and decrease. So a company makes cars. In 2016, a company made 350 cars. In first 6 months of 2017, the company made 25 cars each month. And the last 6 months of 2017, the company made 45 cars each month. Work out the percentage increase in the number of cars the company made from 2016 to 2017. So total cars in 2017 are going to be 25 times 6 plus 45 times 6. That gives us 420. Total cars in 2016 is 350. So percentage increase is new value minus old value divided by old value times 100. New value is 420, old value is 350. Divide by 350 times 100. That's going to give us 20%. Company's income in 2017 was $500,000 more than the company's income in 2016. The company's income in 2017 was 8% more than the company's income in 2016. Work out the company's income in 2016. So in 2017, it's 500,000 more than X. This is X. And then again in 2017, it's 8% more than the company's income in 2016. So 108 over 100 times X. So 500,000 plus X equals to 108X over 100. Let's solve this for X. So 108 divided by 100, 1.08. 500,000 equals to 1.08x minus x. That's going to be 0.08x. So x is going to be 500,000 divided by 0.08, and that gives us 6250000. So this is the company's income. Then you can get a question on the mean values. Then 30 students in a class sat a mathematics test. The mean mark in the test for the 30 students was 26.8. 13 out of 30 students in the class are boys, and the mean mark in the test for boys is 25. You have to find the mean mark for the girls. So sum of total scores is going to be 30 times 26.8. For the mean score, it will be sum of the scores divided by the total number of tests. So to get the sum, we do the opposite. We times the mean by the total number of students. So for the entire class, it's going to be 30 times 26.8, which is 804. Now for the boys, it's going to be 13 times 25. So for girls, the scores are going to be 804 minus 325. So that's 479. So for mean score of girls, we divide the sum of scores by the number of girls, which is 17, which is 28.2 correct to 3 significant figures. That is your answer. Then I'm not sure if metric conversions came, but like, let's do a question for this. We have to change the speed of x kilometers per hour into speed in meters per second. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. So we're going from kilometers to meters. So x times 1,000 and divided by 3,600 because it's per hour. Per means division. So we're dividing the distance by time. So that's going to be, these get cancelled out, and 5x over 18. That's your speed in meters per second. Then inverse and direct proportion. So y is directly proportional to the cube of x. So if it is directly proportional to the cube of x, it's going to be y equals to kx cube. In direct proportion, you multiply k with the other variable. In inverse proportion, you divide the other variable by k. So y is 20h when x is h. Let's find the value of k first using this information. So 20 over h square is k. So we have to find a formula for y in terms of x and h. Y equals to 20 over h square times x cube. So y is 20x cube over h square. That is your formula for y in terms of x and h. Remember that you always have to find the value of k first. And for the value of k, you substitute the given values in the equation first. Figure out the value of k, put it back into the equation, and then your equation will be just in terms of the other given variables, not k. Then find x in terms of h when y is 67.5 h. So y is 20x cube over h square. Y is given as 67.5 h equals to 20x cube over h square. 67.5 h times h square divided by 20 is x cube. 67.5 h cube over 20. We take the cube root to find the value of x. So x is 1.5 h. That is your answer. And with that, we're done with the topics I believe are going to come in paper 2. If you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. And if you think I missed out any topic, please put it in the comments below so that I can direct you to a topic video for that and you can practice for those questions. And best of luck, guys. Hopefully you guys will ace it.